In this video, we are looking at some problems that could have a combination of both negative and fractional indices. And so our first section here, we want to write these in surd form. And so basically, if we're dealing with surd form, we don't want to be dealing with negative powers. We want to keep things as positive powers. And so in order to deal with this, I first want to change it so that we don't have any negatives in our powers. And so rewriting this, remember, in order to change our power from positive to negative, it's going to be going on the bottom of our fraction. And so we have b to the power of 4 over 3 on the bottom. And so what we can do now, if we're changing this part to a surd now, the 3 on the denominator of our fractional power means we've got a cube root, and the 4 on the top in our numerator means that power stays on b. So in surd form, we get this. All right, and so if we're wanting for this to go to surd form, we're wanting to get rid of the negative again. And so if we rewrite this, we're going to have x to the power of 3/4 because the power changes if we shift it over the fraction line. And going to surd form, we've got 4 on the bottom, so we've got a 4th root, and the 3 in the numerator means we've got x to the power of 3 under the surd. All right. This one here, we want to write this in index form, and with index form, we want to end up ultimately with the letters in the numerator. If you're asked for index form, that's what you want to do. And so, first of all, let's change it so that we have a fractional power. And so it's on the bottom at the moment, but we can rewrite this. So we've got v to the power of 5. So 5 is in the numerator of our fraction, and we've got a 6th root. So that means we've got 6 in the bottom of our fraction. So we've got 1 over v to the power of 5 over 6. And so moving this, we want it in the top of our fraction. So we're going to move this part over the fraction line. When it moves over, our power changes from positive to negative. So in index form, this is v to the power of negative 5/6. And so now evaluating, we've got a negative power that's also a fraction. And so if we deal with the negative first, we're going to rewrite it as 1 over 64 to the power of half. And remember, if we have a power of half, that means a square root, a 2 in front of there if we were to write it. And so 1 over the square root of 64, well, the square root of 64 is 8. 8 times 8 is 64. So this works out to be 1 over 8. And so this one here, remember, if we've got a fraction with a negative power, what we can do is we can flip our our fraction, and our power is now positive. And well, 4 over 1, I could actually just write that as 4 there. And so if I'm wanting to do this now, 4 to the power of 5 over 2, remember the 2 is indicating that I have a second root or a square root, and 5 in the numerator means I've got 4 to the power of 5 underneath my square root. Now I could do 4 to the power of 5 and then square root. It's going to be easier to square root the 4 first. The square root of 4 is 2, which I'm still going to apply the power of 5 to. 2 to the power of 5, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32.